What's good, everybody? It's Don the Tap King. Today I have for you Yuriko, the Tiger Shadow. Ninja gang, let's get it.
Tap Kings, baby.
So Yuriko, I think Yuriko's in a really good place right now. I've been falling in love with this deck. She is a beast. 3 CMC, that really doesn't matter. She has Commander, Ninjutsu, and I think that's very OP.
She gotta go.
Basically, what she does, whenever a ninja you control deals combat damage to a player, reveal the top card of your library and put that card into your hand. Each opponent loses life equal to that card's mana value. So basically, we're trying to flip into high CMC cards, deal additional damage, and then basically go in with unblockable creatures. Again, this deck is really good. There's a lot of versions of this deck. I don't run the Doomsday version. It's basically straight beats. That's Oracle. I definitely use that as a win con. When it comes to the creatures, I trimmed a lot of the fat. I feel like these are probably the most optimal creatures for the deck. I'll run through most of them. Some of them are basically staples for the deck. However, some of them will get you to where you want to go, and I'll explain the one-offs. So these are all staples. This one, Stealthy, this is a flex spot. It's a pseudo stack piece that exiles people's creatures. This is a good tech card. Basically, whenever one or more other creature you control leave the battlefield without dying, draw a card. Basically, when you ninjutsu cards back into your hand, it bounces back to your hand, draw a card. It's just great synergy with ninjutsu in general. Staple, this card is really good. When you do flip into it, you hit the table for 8, and also allows you to remove a creature that's attacking you, which I think is nice. If you don't do that, you could use it to exile for Force of Will or Commandeer. This is another great staple. Mockingbird, probably one of the new additions to the deck. I think this card is great in the deck. Synergizes really well. Make it turn into a copy of any ninja. Swing, get more triggers of Yuriko. It's a win-win. Roaming Throne, a great card. If you get on the battlefield with Yuriko triggers, amazing. I like this card too, Satoru. Basically, the menace is relevant. It does go in for damage. So what this card does, whenever Satoru, the infiltrator, and or one or more other non-token creatures enter the battlefield under your control, if none of them were cast or no mana was spent to cast them, draw a card. So when you ninjutsu your commander, draw a card. When you ninjutsu any other ninja, draw a card. Great synergy. This one here is just for beats. You're trying to flip into it ideally and just hit someone in the face, hit the table for 15. This is one of those tech cards that I added recently. Silent Hall Creep. Basically, it has a lot of utility. It can't be blocked, so it's going in for sure for damage. You can get a draw out of it. You could make a copy of this card and turn this card into a copy of another creature you own. And also you could just, if not, just have it get 2/1/1s and then just keep beating face, you know? So, but I love it. I like to just attack, draw the card, next turn attack, bounce it back to my hand, and then ninjutsu something else in. It has a lot of synergy with the deck. The fact that it's unblockable is really great, and then it has, the molds are awesome to have too. So it's very situational, but the draw card is very relevant. Staple, I would think. I would say this is a staple as well. Good card. That's a win con. Great card. I like this card, and I think I run the blue version of this. Basically, we're just trying to flip into this, and then we'll just discard it, or it could be exile for Force of Despair or Contagion, either one of those cards, or you could just pay to 1 and get a swamp if you're hurting for lands. And these two pretty much stable. Sorceries, cut and dry. We run 8 sorceries. The one that probably stands out the most is Curse of the Cabal. This card is great. I cast it one time in the game playing this deck. It was amazing. We're talking about politics to the extreme. Once this hits the field, it's a problem. You're gonna beat a target, obviously. However, if they can't take you out within those turns, people are gonna be forced to sack things, or they're gonna try to politic with you so you don't force them to sack half their permanents. So Target player sacrifices half the permanents he or she controls, rounded down. It has suspend 2. At the beginning of each player's upkeep, if Curse of Cabal is suspended, that player may sacrifice a permanent. If he or she does not, if he or she does, put 2 time counters on Curse of Cabal. It's a great card. Again, if we don't cast it, it's not an issue. Force of Despair likes it, and Contagion likes it as well. So we could just use it to be exiled to play out the cards. But we want to flip into it. That's going to be 10 damage to the face, to the table. So that's definitely relevant. Demonic, obviously Imperial. Oh, this, yeah. Just like the creature version of this one, this gets us a swamp. This one gets us an island. We really care about the CMC. The 5 CMC is great. We flip into it, 5 damage, and then we could use it as fodder to use for one of our counters, or we could just discard it, island cycle it, get our island if we're hurting, you know, so it definitely has utility. Massacre is a great card. If an opponent controls a plane and you control a swamp, you may play Massacre without paying its mana cost. I love that. I love that. People do run planes. All creatures get -2/-2 until the end of turn. And again, same thing as Cabal. If you can't utilize it out the gate, no problem. Exile it for a different spell instant, and we'll go into those as well. Appearance of the Abyss is just game changing. That's if we get one, we're gonna deal 7 to the table, and if we ever get the opportunity to play this card, it's game over. Sea Gate Restoration, staple. Temporal Trespass, this is another staple. A good card as well. I mean, I don't think I ever cast this card to take the extra turn, but we do have that flexibility. If we're running in a grindy game, we're playing a grindy game, then definitely it does have some value in it. However, being able to deal 11 damage and a flip, that's crazy. That's crazy work. So with our sorceries alone, like these 2 right here, doing crazy work. And then obviously, although I'm not really a big fan of Imperial Seal, however, it's good. We can manipulate the first card of our library, throw one of these in to guarantee to get that big CMC burn, and go from there. Instance. This is the bread and butter of the deck. This is a great counter. It works really well with our commander. We don't mind sacrificing our commander because she's gonna come back for two mana for Demir, right? We never hard cast our commander. There should never be a reason why we hard casting our commander. Is always Commander Ninjutsu. This one allows us to sack her, use her as utility to counter spell for 1 CMC. I love it. Great card. This is one of the new additions I actually added to the deck recently. Alpha, you can't refuse. Staple. Brainstorm, good. Commandeer, straightforward. Contagion, you may pay 1 life and exile a black card from your hand rather than pay this mana cost. Distribute 2 -2/-1 counters among 1 or 2 target creatures. Great card. CMC 5, you would love that, right? Big CMC here as well. 7, 5. So you guys see where it's going, right? We're using these big CMC spells, which have alternative costs, and just to burn the table, right? If we could use them, great. If we can't, most likely we're gonna exile to use it for something else. Cyclonic Rift, I'm on defensive on this card. I have it in there now. I'm not sure if I love it anymore, but as of right now, it's gonna stay in the deck. Dark Ritual, staple. I gotta emphasize this is the Alpha Edition, and yes, that is my Alpha Edition. I have 5 of those babies. This is one of them. This is definitely a great home for this card. Deadly Relic, 4 CMC, alternative cost, love it. If you have a commander, just exile target creature. Demonic Consultation, straightforward, right? Dismember, 3 CMC, right? We're basically just pay one mana and just pay 4 life. Life is a resource. Let's use it accordingly, right? There's Guardianship, Flare of Denial, sack your commander, straightforward. Flare of Malice, same thing, sack your commander. Force of Despair. If it's not your turn, you may exile a black card from your hand rather than pay the spell's mana cost. Obviously, that's what we're gonna go for. Destroy all creatures that enter the battlefield this turn. So you just kind of have to. This is a great tech card, and it definitely does work. So you have that flexibility. If someone's being really you're playing against a creature deck, or someone's trying to pop off and you're being targeted hard, by all means, remove, exile a card, exile Contagion, exile whatever you need to, and just destroy all creatures that enter the battlefield this turn. I love this card. This card saved me a couple times. I was playing against some Eldrazi creatures This guy was able to cheat in 3 in. That was a problem, and I was gonna be the target. So I was like, all right, destroy all creatures. Let's go. This card is cool. I'm thinking about taking it out. It's in the same category for me as Cyclonic Rift. They're good cards. They work well in the deck, but I'm looking for replacements for them. Misdirection, another great card, right? We're not paying the CMC. We like to flip into the CMC, then cast it for its alternative cost, removing a blue card from your hand, right? Mystical Tutor, great card. Tap each creatures before damage is calculated. Play this card, manipulate the top of your deck, put the highest CMC instant or sorcery you have in your library still, and make sure it's on top. Do that extra damage. Pack and Evasion, freebie. Snuff Out, freebie. 4 mana, right? Love that. Tainted Pack, straightforward. Vampire Tutor, same thing. We can try to manipulate the top card of our library and hopefully hit one of the big CMCs, right? There's a lot of options to choose from. We have a few that I already pointed out. Artifacts, cut and dry, straightforward, right? Arcane Signet, Chrome Mox, Lotus Petal, Mox Amber. The only one that's on the list as well of cards that are probably going to get removed is Mox Diamond. You don't necessarily need this card in the deck. You could probably run LED. If you don't have LED or Mox Diamond, you could put any other rock, honestly. This card is okay, but there's a lot of times where it's a dead card. Now, you will be drawing additional cards and eventually hitting land, so it definitely becomes online eventually. But initially, you don't want, unless you have a second land in your hand, you don't want to have this card in your hand. You start your hand, absolutely not. But it's an okay card in the deck. Not all decks need Mox Diamond. Soul Ring, Talisman, Wishclaw, right? Blood Chief Ascension is a great card in the deck. We're applying more pressure to life points. Synergies, out of control with this deck. The Blood Chief Ascension just takes it to the next level. Mystic, Ristic, you guys know the vibes. Lands are straight to the point, cut and dry. Ancient Tomb, it's a maybe. I might take that out. I think the only other fetch land I'm not running is Scalding Tarn. I'm on the fence of removing Ancient Tomb and just adding Scalding Tarn. Ancient Tomb is a great card. It's just like Mox Diamond, but not every deck needs it. We really want those pips. We really want that blue. We want to get that black. We want to get that. So there's really no lag time in between bringing the creature out and then turn 2 bringing out a Ninjutsuing Arc Commander to start applying that pressure. So Ancient Tomb, it's good, but I might chop it too for a Scalding Tarn. I think that's the only one I'm not running. Bloodstain, Cavern, City of Brass, Command Tower. Good, yeah. Gemstone Cavern is cool, especially when it's in the starting hand. If it's not, it becomes a boo-boo card. I really don't like it. The fact that it just taps for colorless is trash. It's only great if it's in your starting hand. If not, then it's a boo-boo card.
Nigga gonna stand on business every time.
Loonvale, Island, Marsh Flats. Polluted Delta, snow-covered islands. Basically, you don't want to have repeats of cards. So instead of using 2 islands, I use snow-covered and then a snow-covered swamp just to alleviate any issues with Tainted Pact. This one's cool. This is another tech card. I've really been liking this card. Bring it out, exile. Phase out a creature so I can guarantee that hidden. I like this card more than I like Gemstone Caverns, only because when I bring that out, I know a creature's gonna go by.
Bye, bitch.
Right? And it's gonna guarantee me to get that hit in. So, Talon Gates of Madara is a great card in this deck. I will value this card a little bit higher compared to Gemstone Caverns, just because if you're really trying to get that hit in, to get that additional flip in, this is the way. It's definitely to support that. Now, Gemstone Cavern is a great card when it's in your starting hand. When it's not, it's just doo-doo. And then other lands are just straightforward, right? Catacombs, Water Graves. So yeah, Yuriko, she's a beast. She is a problem. I've been having a lot of fun with this deck recently. Testing out different cards, seeing which work really well with her. There's still some cards I'm still trying to decide if I'm gonna keep or what to replace it with. But honestly, man, I think Yuriko's in a really good place right now. If you haven't built her, definitely have fun with this list. It's a really good list. It's very aggressive. It's very consistent. The synergies out there, it's really strong. And again, this is probably one of my newer favorite decks at the moment. Yuriko, like I said, is in a really good spot. If you like this video, if you want to see more, like, subscribe. If you haven't already, hit the notification button. And like always, guys, God bless.
Kings, baby.